Hello, 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 and welcome to American in Yerevan. You are listening to 103.0 Radio Van, and Seal singing the sad truth of the state of affairs.
This is a man's world,
This is a man's world,
Stephen.
but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl.
Heart.
It's true.
Good evening, Stephen.
Good evening, Nina.
And that's true.
And our subject for the day, because you were going to tell me about yesterday?
Yeah,
What
sure.
was yesterday?
It's such a bummer you missed it yesterday because you were ill. I hope you're feeling better tonight,
Excuse me
by
if
the
my
way.
nose sounds a little bit stuffed today.
Oh, it sounds sexy. Well, Stephen, yesterday was a holiday. Like a Soviet holiday.
Another holiday?
Yes. And former Soviet countries still celebrate it. Defender of the Fatherland Day.
Yes, the Defender of the Fatherland.
It was first celebrated in 1919. The holiday marks the date in 1918 during the Russian Civil War. And then in 1949 it was named Soviet Army and Navy Day.
Right.
And now after 2012 it is called just Defender of the Fatherland Day, and officially the holiday celebrates people who are serving or were serving the Russian armed forces, but unofficially.
This is the important part. Tune in.
This is the answer to your question today. Nationally, it is also the celebration of men in general.
So we might be able to. Could we call it Man Day?
Yeah, it's like
Man
the
Day.
equivalent of International Women's Day on March 8th. So,
yes.
So that we have a special day to congratulate our men, to give them little presents, to some special attention.
Yes. And I have to say that today, one of my dreams came true.
Really?
You know this? It's like a striped tank top that they wear in the Navy.
Тельняшка.
Yeah, I finally got that as a gift for Man Day, the day that I missed yesterday. And I never served, not in the American Army, not in the Russian Army, not in the Armenian Army, not in the Soviet Army, and no army. But I have a shirt.
Yeah, because you're a man. It's a celebration of
Man
Day. So from entire Radio Van staff, like girls.
All the girls at the radio are
special
showering
shirt
the love
for
on.
American in Yerevan.
Yes. So thank you to all of the girls at Radio Van, and thank you to you, Ina, for bringing this day about. We're here talking about Man Day
and we'll
everything
be back.
that goes with it. Listening to Man Down by Rihanna here on American in Yerevan because
I just shot a man down.
Yeah, it's a perfect song.
Yeah, I wonder if every woman have a certain man in their lives who they would really want to shut down.
Shut that man down.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Trust me.
If you have something to say in response to that question, call us at 560-901 and tell us about the man that you once wanted to shoot down.
I would like to listen to that story. We're celebrating men tonight. And we have some epic stories.
Some stories of Supermen.
Yep.
Not just Superman, but Supermen.
Super.
Yeah. Did you know there was a George Bernard Shaw play called Man and Superman? Yeah, and it wasn't about Superman. I don't think Superman had been invented yet. Yeah, it was a play.
Cool. Well, everything. There's so many things about man in this world, so this really is a man's world, I think. But
tell us about
and we have some stories in Armenian epic stories about like Titans.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Like the way that the Greek mythology begins?
Exactly.
The whole species of giants who walked the earth.
Stephen, have you ever been in a train station here in Yerevan?
No, I've driven past it.
Yeah, because if you were there, you would see big statue of David.
out front.
Yes.
Yeah, I noticed it just the other day, and I was thinking,
David.
who is that? Who could that be? Oh, that's David.
That's David. That's who he is.
Oh.
David of Sassoon is the main hero of Armenia's national epic and Titans of Sassoon.
Oh, okay, so he was one of this League of Titans.
Yeah, who drove Arab invaders out of Armenia. Yeah, it dates from the 8th century. David of Sassoon is one of the 4 parts of this epic story.
Okay.
But due to the popularity of the character, the entire epic is known to the public as David of Sassoon.
Even though there are 4 other parts about other people?
3 other parts.
3 other parts,
Yeah, besides this one.
Okay,
Modern Armenian writer Hovannes Tumanyan, remember?
I do.
Remember, Stephen, you were reading Ahtamar last time.
I was.
Yeah.
He wrote a...
He also, later, he wrote a poem of the same name, retelling the story of David of Sassoon in a more modern language.
Yeah.
So we also have a poem like that. So it's really popular. And then, besides that, in 2010, an animated adaptation was produced in Armenia, like a cartoon.
Yeah. Oh, so there's a cartoon I can watch even. Oh,
yeah.
Great. Cool.
And in 2012, the epic was included in UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage List.
Hey. Okay.
See? This is quite interesting information about David of Sassoon. Do you have any stories about American heroes to tell?
Well, we have, all the heroes. Superman, Spider-Man, Batman.
Mm-hmm.
All those different men. The Hulk.
Catwoman versus Superman.
And there is the theory that all of this, what's called comic book mythology comes out of actual, American myth and an American legend of, the guys who started the country, And one of the guys was Davy Crockett, who in the early 19th century was a congressman from Tennessee. And there are all of these really fantastical stories about him that became famous because of Walt Disney. When Walt Disney was building Disneyland, the first Disneyland, he wanted a section of the park that was called the Frontier. So he needed a hero for that area of the park, and he picked Davy Crockett, who was this congressman who he was a frontiersman. So he went west a lot. It was the time when everyone was going west, and they were doing all of these really crazy things, trying to mostly kill Indians and create settlements in the West, in Texas and Colorado, all of those places. And there's this really funny song from that time when they created this character, this legend, Davy Crockett, that begins like this. Born on a mountaintop in Tennessee, greenest state in the land of the free, raised in the woods so he knew every tree, killed him a bear when he was only 3. And so there are these legends of him being born on a mountaintop. He always wore a raccoon skin hat. I don't know if you know about this. It's like a fur hat, and on the back there's a tail, a raccoon tail.
Yeah, I've seen that.
He's like the iconic character who wore the coonskin hat.
Forefather of Superman?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, because almost all of it is fake. There was even a book that came out earlier this year, Born on a Mountaintop, The Ghosts of the Wild Frontier, because he was called the King of the Wild Frontier. But they're finding out that so many of the stories, even the story about how he actually died in Texas during the War of the Alamo, are just fake. I mean, so many fake legends about this guy. Just like Superman, he was born on a different planet, came back. He can fly around our planet a bunch and go back in time. All these fantastical things about these humans.
Would you?
And mostly men. Yeah.
What kind of superpower would you like to have?
If I could have a superpower?
Yeah.
Fly, I think I'd like to fly.
Yeah.
But then if I was going to fly, I'd have to also have the superpower of not getting cold.
Yeah.
Because it gets really cold up there. And being able to breathe up there.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah. But that would be great.
You'll
just being able to fly
you'd
home
have
for a few days and then come back.
Suit?
Yeah. Yeah, build a thermal suit.
Yeah.
That would be great. Well, So since we talked about the Davy Crockett song, can we listen to one song that maybe is not going to be very tasteful for a lot of our listeners? You may not like this song,
Yeah,
but it's a piece of history.
Piece of American
Can we listen to it?
history, of course.
Okay, here it comes. Davy Crockett,
Let's go.
King of the Wild Frontier. It's very short. By the Sixth Borough Project, Just a Memory, featuring Marvin Gaye. I think that's the original
Yeah, the
recording there.
original.
I've heard it through a grapevine.
I like
What a
this
cool
one.
guy Marvin Gaye was.
Yeah, I love a lot of his songs.
A lot. I loved a lot.
A lot of
I
them.
don't
yeah.
want to exaggerate here.
Yeah, I don't want to exaggerate here. I'm so honest.
I've noticed that about you.
Steven, which are really stereotypical things about men in general, maybe in America or specifically?
Oh, yeah.
What are like the first associations?
He's always, he never cries at movies.
Yeah.
At the movies, he won't cry.
And especially at the sunsets.
And at the sunset, no.
Never.
No way. He'll pick up a pistol and shoot a bullet at the sun instead.
Yeah.
Like Clint Eastwood. Oh, basically Clint Eastwood is like the American stereotype for a real man. Yeah.
They never get hurt. Even
They
if
never get hurt. Yeah. Even when their leg is hanging on by a thread,
yeah.
they ask for a shot of whiskey and they just keep going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Terminator.
Yeah, like the term.
Till the end.
No, that's not a man. He's a robot.
Yeah.
You didn't notice that?
Wow.
You never got
Thank
that part?
you.
He's a robot. Ina.
Oh, really? I thought those are just American men.
Oh, you just thought that we had metal on the
Yeah,
inside of us?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people have weird ideas of... What about Armenian stereotypes about men? What is masculinity in Armenia?
Oh, you always take care of your woman. A woman should never work. You have to work for her. You have to take care of the entire family. Woman never pays her for her part in restaurant. Never, ever.
Yeah.
Man always does that. He always takes her home.
I don't know if anyone is watching us on Radio Vanda FM right now, but I want to ask this question. Do you have to frown like that too?
Yeah.
Like you always have to frown.
Yeah, because you cannot show a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
That's also masculine.
Yeah, no emotions.
No cries, no,
Uh-uh.
and stuff like that. It's just
Something my dad used to say when I was
cool.
a kid.
Just stay cool.
Because I was a big crier when I was a kid.
Oh.
Yeah, I like to cry a lot. And my dad would always say, like, buck up. That was his phrase. He'd be like, okay, enough of that. Buck up, kid.
What
I never really understood what that means.
Buck up.
Because buck is like,
Back
it could be
up.
$1. It could be a male deer.
Ah,
It could be, I think you can buck something, like you nudge it or shoulder it. That's a buck.
I see.
I think buck up means like stop crying,
Yeah,
basically. Yeah. Buck up. But I think it's super Western, It's like he must have heard that from a John Wayne movie or something.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood.
Which is another iconic character, John Wayne. Oh man,
Oh.
there was this film, John
Tell
Wayne
us
and the
about
Cowboys, and in this film, well, you can't really call it a film. In this movie, John Wayne takes, I think, like 200 head of cattle across the Front Range with a big group of kids, a bunch of boys, cowboys, And there's like there are these bad guys, of course, that follow them, and at like the main event of the movie, the bad guy is trying to steal the cattle from him, and John Wayne won't let him. John Wayne gets shot in the kneecaps, both of them, then in the shoulder, and then in the elbow, then in the other elbow,
And he keeps going.
No, he doesn't even fall down. He keeps walking. Yeah, he eventually dies, but
You know what? I just remembered we had this book when I was little. My parents would read this book to me, Dядя Степа Великан,
yeah,
about this tall Soviet icon
yeah.
man.
There's a cat stuck in a tree.
Yeah.
I'll get him out.
Exactly. He was so tall that
Uh-huh.
he could like touch the clouds, and and he had like big feet, and he could help anybody that was on the roof, stuck on the roof, or out of fire or whatever. He was just. He's kind of like this. He could never be hurt or could never be killed.
Invincible.
He was just
Internally and externally, yeah. But the 21st century man, I don't know how it is. No, it doesn't seem like it's really this way here. But in America, the 21st century man is a man who is brave enough to cry at movies. Yeah. And he will let his wife go and work.
Yeah.
He'll stay home with the child.
He is brave enough to stay home.
He's brave enough to
change
stay
the
home.
diaper.
Yeah, change the diaper. Deal with the
real
naps.
heroes.
These are the modern day heroes.
Yeah.
Oh, we should talk about our Facebook page. We have a Facebook page. It's called American in Yerevan. We have a few likes every day. So tell your friends, especially those abroad, because we can be listened to not only live. However, really, like, this is a good time to listen to us. If you're in LA or in Colorado or New York, it's like from the beginning of the day around 10 a.m. to the middle of the day. I think in New York we start at like 3. It's a great time to listen to us if you're running on the treadmill or at your lunch break. But you can also listen to our recordings on the page American in Yerevan.
Anytime.
I saw, just talking about Facebook, I saw a Facebook page of a video that was posted with the tag, "This is my kind of hero," of a guy, can you believe this, who was running in the woods, just on a regular jog, in the woods, and he saw a ram, let's return to our rams. They have those horns that are kind of like the curly-Q horns that curl around. The ram had gotten its horn stuck on a tree, can you imagine? And it was just running in circles around the tree, not knowing what was going on. And this poor guy was trying to free it from the tree, and he had to like hold onto a branch and stand far away enough that the ram wouldn't run straight into him.
He was in a panic.
And he was the poor ram. Oh my gosh, it was so crazy. And he eventually was able to grab the ram. Kind of stopped for a sec, and he grabbed the horn for long enough to get it free from the tree. And you're thinking, oh my God, what is going to happen when this ram is free? Because they're so powerful and so fast.
He's going to kill him.
Yeah, he's going to run into this poor guy who freed him. But what happened was that he ran just straight in the other direction, just took off. It was so cool.
A real hero.
A real life hero somewhere in maybe Colorado.
Remember,
it
Steven,
seemed like
we
Colorado.
were reading that one of the stars saved the child from this fire.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx.
Yeah,
He saved
exactly.
someone from a burning car.
See, we have nowadays heroes.
We do.
Real heroes.
Yeah, we do. Real masculinity here on American in Yerevan. Talking about Man Day today. If you have something to say about your favorite man or your hero who was a man, or even about that man you had to shoot down. Actually, no, don't call about that. We don't want to hear any of those stories. Call us at 560-901. We're still here until 11.
And also, you have a chance to win 2 tickets to Van Music Awards annual event, which is on 28th of February.
Just a few days left. So if you want to join us at the Music Awards, which is a lot like Eurovision as far as I hear.
Yeah,
I haven't been yet. So.
And we have just 2 tickets
be a
left.
Big, great time. Yeah, 2 tickets left. Call us.
If you want to have fun with us that night.
Yeah. And keep listening. We're here till 11. You are still listening to American in Yerevan on 103.0 Radio Van with Ina MK.
And Steven Ochsner, and we're still expecting for your calls because you have a surprise tonight. 2 tickets for an exclusive annual, one time a year
event
show, Van Music Awards. So if you don't want to miss this event, give us a call.
We also have the blood drive going on still.
Oh, yes.
2 weeks ago we had a week of blood.
So important.
Yeah. And there's a blood drive going on still until March 5th. And if you would like to get some information about that, you can go to www.blood.am. And you can win tickets to Kings on Ice, which will be on March 5th.
And featuring...
Dima
Bilan, Yevgeny Belushenko, and so many other Russian and local stars. And also, you have the chance to win those tickets also if you give us a call.
Give us a call here at 560-901.
Not only us, but during the day, if you're calling any of our shows, you still have a chance to win those tickets.
But really, the main thing is not necessarily to call for those tickets, but to go and give blood. And you can call us to get information about that, about where you can go, if you're eligible.
Which is Nersesian 7th Street.
Mm-hmm.
And for more information, you can always call 283-8800. Let's get back to our Rams.
Yeah, let's return to our Rams.
Yeah, let's return to our Rams, which are men. Does that mean that men are Rams? Oh no.
Yeah, it
no
could be.
way. No way.
There's that stereotype too, like stubborn. Oh, men are so stubborn.
Yeah, and like a little dumb stereotype.
Yeah.
Like
thick,
in the Beauty and the Beast.
Thick-headed.
The Beauty and
like
the Beast.
Gaston. Yeah.
The strong and dumb guy.
Yeah, the guy who can put a belt around his arm and flexed his arm and the belt broke.
And he feels
and then
so
he also,
cool.
He cracks like 9 eggs into a glass and then drinks it for breakfast. Just 9 raw eggs for breakfast.
Oh, ew, that's horrible.
That's what a man is.
That's what a man is.
Steven,
have you noticed this thing? There are so many famous artists, men artists, so many world famous men composers, men, I don't know, directors or...
Sure. Historical figures.
Yeah, historical
conquerors.
figures.
Yeah, Napoleon. Yeah,
leaders.
The Great, Peter.
And women are always considered the weaker gender.
Yeah, there's even that phrase.
Yeah,
that has
weak.
never made sense to me.
Slabable. The weak. So, I had an interesting conversation with one of my friends a couple of weeks ago, and this is what he told me, and this was a really interesting idea of why men always search to achieve like big goals, to have fame, to reach certain levels in this life, to get famous or to leave something
the
after
achievement.
they
the chasing of achievement that men do. Oh yeah, what is it?
It's because white women don't necessarily do this, because
but they do.
They do, but not as...
Oh, why historically there's a disproportionate ratio? Yeah, okay.
Because women, when they give birth to a child, they get this feeling of a great mission they have achieved in life.
Oh.
That's like the most important thing they have done.
Yeah.
Which is a feeling that a man can never experience and can never really understand what it feels like. And this is why men create a child out of... Well, they have a child, but they cannot give a birth to a child. So they kind of create a child out of their work, out of the talents that they have, trying to create something.
I'm gonna have to contradict you on that one.
Yeah, sure. I knew that was coming.
It's just when you say that they can never understand the achievement of having a child. Like, for example, my father is the father of 4 children, 4 boys.
Yeah.
A chorus of boys.
For and Gaston.
My father was he was a pool cleaner for a while. He's done a lot of different things. He was a carpenter. He redesigned, restored houses, and he has this company now that builds the cubicles, and it's just kind of like a way to keep going, to get by, to have money to live, and he works on it. But he says now that he wouldn't have a reason to live if it weren't for kids. Like, his whole meaning of life is that he has children.
Yeah, I
which
agree.
Is the exact opposite of what you said.
Well, yeah. I agree, but men still appreciate the gift of having a child, but they can never have the exact feeling of giving the birth to a child. That is totally different. Something that no matter how hard you try to express it with words or to explain how it feels, it's still just a description.
I see. More on the opinions of men and women when we come back. Right now we're going to listen to Gambling Man by The Overtones. And we're still here for another 40 minutes.
Still waiting for your call.
Still waiting for you. Since we're talking about men who were like big heroes of our lives and big heroes of mythology and stuff, can I tell you a story?
Sure.
So there's this guy. His name is Dave Altieri. And when I was a Boy Scout, for a little bit of time because my father was a Boy Scout. He became an Eagle Scout, which is like the top
and
scout.
I never got to be a pioneer. Never.
It just wasn't the right time.
Yeah. Okay, keep going.
There were a bunch of families, in Boy Scouts, and one of the families was the Altieris. And Dave Altieri was this dad who was like really into like helping us get into like more survival training and mountain climbing and rock climbing and stuff like that. And there were all of these really difficult hoops to jump through in Boy Scouts, like laws, that you have to follow because the Boy Scouts of America has been sued a bunch of times, I'm sure. And so we ended up quitting Boy Scouts to start this club, like a youth mountaineering club. And we climbed all of these mountains and did all of this rock climbing and ice climbing and winter mountaineering. I think I told you about winter camping that we did with him. And he was always like our teacher, our like mentor in all of this.
Sensei.
And he had like the most boring lectures. He would talk for 4 hours about what you wear outside. No. Yeah, 4 hours about the clothing layering system. I can tell you anything you want to know about what you should wear if you're going to go on a hike because of these lectures. And it was so interesting because the more we got to know him, the more his like life kind of opened up before us. It turns out that he was. And he I think he retired recently. Yeah, he retired recently, but he was in the 10th Mountain Division in the Marines. I think it's the Marines. It's one of the armies of America. And they're the guys who ski and do all of this like backcountry rescuing and stuff like that. Then he was a skydiver and a skydiving instructor for a long time. And he did something like upwards of 3,000 jumps from airplanes, even jumping from really, really high altitudes where you have to have oxygen and all of this stuff. And one time, get this, his parachute got wrapped up with another guy's parachute.
No.
And he was able to pull his reserve parachute just in time to hit the ground at 60 miles an hour.
Wow. That was... Yeah. That was almost.
He said he broke
almost
every bone in his body. Every single one of his femurs were in his chest. His lungs were punctured. They were pulling him apart, for weeks in the hospital. Surgery after surgery after surgery after surgery. He was in the hospital for months and months. So they told him, you will never walk again.
Did you go to visit him?
No, I didn't know him yet.
Oh.
I had never met him yet.
Oh, I see.
They told him, you will never walk again. Then within like a year or two, he was able to walk, and they said, okay, well, take it easy. You can walk. That's like one thing, but be careful about doing anything else. Then he started running.
See, that's the American man.
Yeah,
you should. He still
this
keeps
is it.
walking.
This is Man Day. And get this, he started running marathons, and not only marathons, but marathons that go up a mountain and back down it. And then
this is such a strong will thing.
Yeah, and he climbed this mountain. Well, they didn't make it to the top, but they came to Kyrgyzstan to climb. I can't remember, but it was one of the tallest peaks in the world. And he's gone on these amazing adventures. And all after he hit the ground, and he says that the earth hit him. The earth hit him at 60 miles an hour. So today, on Man Day, I would just like to say it's been a pleasure knowing and learning from David Altieri in Colorado, a legend of my life. I can't imagine.
Is he still alive?
Oh, yeah. And he's still running.
A big hello from Armenia, David.
Mountains.
Big respect to you.
Respect, David.
Respect, yeah.
Yeah, so do you have any kind of like male heroes of your life that you'd like to tell us about, Ina?
It's all simple for me. Just like in most of girls' lives, I think their the first main hero of their lives is their dad. I am among them. I've always been my daddy's girl.
Yeah, dad, hero.
Yeah,
Of course.
and
he can do anything. He's
he can
dad.
do anything. And it was I have so many memories from my childhood doing stuff together. But most of the time, it was so cool going out with your dad.
Going out?
Yeah.
Oh, like to eat or something? Or walking around?
Just walk.
Going doing anything with dad. Yeah.
But with dad alone.
Yeah.
Mom stays home.
Yeah, when mom stays at home and you go out somewhere
and
doing real things. with
whatever
dad.
you want,
Oh,
he
right,
buys
yeah,
for
he'll
you.
do it.
Whatever you
Ice
ask for,
cream.
you get.
Go ice skating.
Yeah, go all kinds of carousels.
Carousels. Cotton candy, popcorn. You come home all sick and your mom's like,
yeah, how
what
could you
did you
that?
do
Yeah.
to our child?
But we're all happy and,
It's rough being dad, yeah.
It's
true.
cool being a dad because, and those two roles are so important with mom being strict and with dad doing crazy stuff with him.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, I ended up sharing with my dad more easily rather than with my mom.
Oh, because it felt kind of more like
as grown up.
Yeah, like you were on the same page as dad.
Yes, this is how it is now.
Well, thanks for sharing that story with us. If you have a story to share about your father or about a male figure in your life which you were impressed by, give us a call at 560-901. For now, we're going to listen to Smiley, Stupid Man. Not necessarily the best song to follow up with, but that's what we have coming. Keep listening to us. We're here for another
That's about
few
Gaston.
minutes. Yeah, this is about Gaston. The tragedy of guns. It's a really we have a celebration yesterday about army members and people serving, and that's something that the individual has to be respected because the individual served, right?
Yeah, but the whole idea.
Yeah. There's no respect in
stinks.
war. In war, there's nothing to respect.
Yeah.
Because it's all just destruction.
People make love and not war.
Yeah. And listen to Damon Marley because he's cool.
Yeah.
We have a caller.
And
Hello?
I can guess who this is.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, no.
No.
Malfunctions. Technical malfunctions. Okay, let's see. I'm going to drop it. See if we can get a call back. We're kind of the end.
Dear caller, hurry up. But before we have the call. Oh, here you go.
Let's see. Hello? Hello? Oh, no! Technical difficulties!
What is going on?
What's
What is going on? Hello.
That was interesting. Okay, we're going to try one more time. Just calling in.
Come on. You can do it. You'll make it.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, there it is.
Finally.
Sorry about that delay there. Irene?
Yes?
Irene.
Good evening, everybody. How are you today?
We're fine. How are you doing?
I am always very good with you.
Oh, thank you.
So sweet.
Were you listening to our show?
Yes, and when you started talking about heroes in our life, I just couldn't help myself from calling you.
Oh, great.
Cool.
Are you going to tell us about a hero from your life?
You'll be probably surprised if I say that's Madonna.
Wow.
Whoa.
We are.
Because you'll agree that she's not too talented. She doesn't have very strong and good vocals, but she showed the world that a person can reach whatever she wants.
With hard working.
Yes, with hard working and with being very strong personality.
And that's a feature for a man, but she's a woman.
And it can be nothing without a woman or a girl.
That's true. The world would be nothing without a woman or a
So if
girl.
you are listening to this show, Madonna, I'm crazy for you.
Hello, Madonna. I'm sure she is.
Wednesday and Friday, you are listening to this show.
I have a feeling that you're going to ask to listen to a song by Madonna. Is that right?
Yes,
What song
Voices.
would you like to listen to?
Voices.
Voices by
Voices.
Madonna.
Cool.
We have, since you called
Nice
here
choice.
today, Irene, we have a riddle for you.
Are you ready?
And if you get the riddle correct, if you answer correctly, then you will get 2 tickets to Kings on Ice. Should be March 5th.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. What question can never be answered with a yes?
Cannot stitch. Are you sleeping or not?
Yes.
Ah!
That was an easy one.
That was too easy. Okay, well, you are the lucky winner of 2 tickets to
Thank you.
this Kings on Ice that will be March 5th and is a part of the blood drive. I don't know if you're able to get down to the place to give blood, but anyway, you have the tickets, so we will be in touch about how to get those to you. Okay, Irene?
Okay.
And right now we're going to listen to
Madonna.
Voices by Madonna. Thanks for calling. Oh, there she goes. I wanted to kind of just wrap things up today.
Yeah, sure.
With something
do
that
it.
is very, very, very untraditional, and that is a transsexual man.
Oh, have you watched a movie lately, Steven?
You're looking at me with that eye. Have you watched a movie recently?
Have you watched a
Steven?
movie,
Yeah,
Steven?
I have. And it was called
And it was
The
called...
Danish Girl, or the girl from
Oh,
the Danish Girl.
Hey, I'm just
You haven't-
trying to watch it
You haven't had
like
time yet?
every day. We didn't manage
It's
to do
unreal.
it.
It's so crazy.
Did you like it?
Yeah, well, it's weird too because like going into it, you've already heard about it. People tell you it's like this historical thing about the first person who went through the operation, and it was like the pioneer for all of the transgender people of the world and all of
Mhm.
this. And so you think, I don't know, I had like expectations about how it would be, and it wasn't anything like I thought. It actually seems more like the love story between him at the beginning that turns into a her, and his wife, and his wife's support of him
Oh,
throughout
she does.
she's
Still.
through the very end. She's holding his hand while he's recovering from the operation.
That's a really human love.
Yeah, a real human, really untraditional kind of love that I think would be I just in that time period was so hard to understand. Even in this time period, in certain places, I think it would be very difficult to understand.
It still is, yeah.
But it still is. So there's a man that turned into a woman, or a man that was born. No, that's the thing. The logic goes like this. It's a woman born in a man's body. He even says, I was correcting a mistake that nature made.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that wild?
Is
hard
he
to wrap
like
your brains-
trapped in a
Yeah.
man's body?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And it starts out, he's just a very successful painter
Mhm.
in Copenhagen, and he's living his life, and then all of a sudden his wife asks him to put on some pantyhose and put a dress over himself so that she can finish a painting for a model that was late and couldn't come to the meeting for the portrait.
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden he has all of these feelings open up inside of him, and it's like this
Yeah, something
this
that he
road
was waiting
that he can't
for.
turn back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that film that I recommend highly if you have any kind of interest in non-traditional love. The Danish Girl. And come back, listen to us on Friday. We are here every Wednesday and Friday from 9 to 11 p.m. And we will be back, of course, with more tickets to Radio Von Music Awards. Don't miss it.
Sure,
Friday will be your last chance, really.
And we're reminding you that on 1st and 3rd of March, we have Steven's 2 shows in Russian and English, which is...
The Russian version is called Sentenci Pantelea Karmanova, and in the
And the
English
English
adaptation
one?
is called The Maxims of Peter Pockets.
So don't miss
So
it.
don't miss it.
And as a closing, I'll say a proverb, a
great.
quote by George Carlin,
Oh, cool.
which says, "Men are from Earth, women are from Earth. Deal with it."
Deal with it.
Have a great
Okay.
night and join us back on Friday.